Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. Let's talk Bitcoin, which is in the process of breaking out. So pretty exciting to see. We'll also take a look at IWM. I am long that one, and that one continues to look pretty good. And then I'll show you some of the stocks that I've traded today. The market has been not doing a whole lot, so it's been kind of flat. Tomorrow it's a half a day. We'll see what Europe does and kind of what happens over the weekend. So I'm going with a bunch of short positions into tomorrow. I also have longs, but first of all, it's Bitcoin on the agenda in here. So we got a pretty nice bullish signal, which we've talked about back here on the June 23rd, with the break back above that 50-day moving average. And then, we talked about this high back here at about 110, 460, long positions on the signal and the break above the 50-day and the 20-day in there. And then wait for kind of look at the 61.8 retracement of this entire move, and we'll take a look at the wave counts here in a second. We looked at the 61.8. If he would have gone lower than that, we would have been in trouble, and try to kind of get out of the positions or hedge or do something else. But right now the Bitcoin looks good. It looks like he wants to break after a nice corrective move in another one and another two. So the moment it cracks 110, in here, this is from a pure technical perspective. I think that's another reason to start, adding to the positions and looking for a much higher breakout. I like the volume that's coming in. So exciting. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't stall. If it stalls, I'm going to say this right now. If it stalls and it breaks the low of this candle, then we could be in another very basic X wave, and we can get another corrective move lower, which we don't want to be a part of. So that's kind of what's happening in Bitcoin. So really quickly, let me go to the wave count. So we've talked, I think, last week about, or actually no, it was tomorrow on the 1st, about how everything looks on the monthly basis and on a 3-month basis. Bitcoin looking really good on the monthly, looking even better on the quarterly charts. Here is the wave count that we're watching for it to continue to go. So this is the wave that I'm interested in trying to catch. This is the meat of the move. And then we're looking back here where we're basically had on a daily time frame, a very simple, nice wave 2, pulling back about 38.2% almost. And now we're looking to see if this is what can happen. So let me get my impulse and go wave. Let's see here. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna hook that up. What is my wave 3? Hold on, that's a wave 4. Wave 3 is there. Okay. So let's change the angle a little bit and connect this 5th wave to that. And I don't know if it's gonna go that much, but I would love it to. So that's the idea, that we would somewhat travel and break decisively. Now it's not gonna happen all of a sudden. I don't think so. We're probably gonna have some back and forth, maybe another 1-2, maybe another 1-2 in here with a retest of a 110 in case we're breaking, and then let's just kind of throw up some targets just for just to kind of have an idea. So you're looking at about 123 at about 161.8 of this wave 1. That would be, a pretty standard target. We'll see what happens in here, but definitely that's kind of what I'm watching. And this is what you want to see after a corrective move, right? After this beautiful, I mean, no matter how you label this. I mean, we can label it as an ABC or a WXY, it doesn't matter. Let's just do a simple ABC corrective move, and let's just kind of look at C versus A. I mean, that's perfect equality, even without measuring, right? Look at that. And the software just tells you there, 100% wave C versus wave A, purely against an impulsive trend. Now you're going in an impulse, so when you think about, and this is a nice, for those asking, well, how can you trade Elliott Wave, and how, what do you look for, and when do you get in? Well, this is exactly the type of stuff that you want to look for. So you're looking for an impulse off the low, big impulse off the low. If you're missing it, that's the way it is. You got to wait for the correction. You look for the first leg of the correction. Sometimes this is all it is, and you're moving higher. If you're getting a B wave, chances are that if you're buying, let's say, the first breakup out of there, that you're going to notice through the price section, and if you kind of get below that, you got to get out, because that's going to be probably a B wave or an X wave. So the market fooled you up there, comes back, you're looking for equality, you're now longing right away at 100%. You're watching it closely and let's see how it reacts. Let's see the buyers coming in. They coming in right there. They're creating an impulse. You go in that impulse, maybe you start nibbling a little bit at it, not a full position. Then you're seeing the pullback, and now the market, if it goes up here, it starts to give you more of a clear pattern. I mean, it's already looking pretty good, but if it starts to get up there, then things look good. Now, if you break below that level, I would start to cut positions back, because why? It could be a failed move, and you could end up doing that. So sure, you could have a very simple ABC flat and then go, but more than likely this level there should hold. So even just a pure simple strategy of kind of how to trade a breakout, how to look, to buy after an ABC, and the good indication is this kind of wave B high. Okay, my cat just walked into the room and just interrupted my flow, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's continue to go. Bitcoin, I think it's fine. We're gonna continue to watch it in here, but I do like, the breakout. Again, I do like what's going on a monthly basis on a 3-month chart. That's all looking so far so good. So now let's take a look. So this is fine. We'll see how we close today. Let's take a look at IWM. Listen, it broke above the 200-day moving average. To me, that's strong. I don't care what's going on in the rest of the market. And this is what I think is going on. Maybe we don't know yet. We will know it later in the year. I think the market, even with the move in the Bitcoin and the move in IWM, I think what the market is trying to do here is probably going to start pricing in maybe rate cuts from the Fed. Or it's anticipating that Trump might change the Fed, what have you. I'm not going to get into all of that. But the markets will always move first before everybody knows it. They start anticipating stuff and they start throwing money at it. And this very well could be, one of those situations where you're getting rally in Bitcoin and in small caps. So first target in small caps, it's going to be right there. Then we're going to target, those moves over there. And I'm going to be using, kind of the 50-day, maybe even the 20-day as defense for now, along with the swing lows in those markets. Okay, so let me show you what I've done today as well. So basically, I've reshorted Tesla a little bit later in the day. So I wanted to, I waited for this 4-hour and see how that closed. And if it was going to close at the high, and maybe above the 20-day, I would not have touched it. The fact that it pulled back almost half that candle, and it's below the 20-day, right at the 50-day, I see it as a candidate for short. And I'm not going to look for a whole lot. I'm probably going to look for a move back here first and then see. So if it starts falling back like that, and see if it does that. But maybe that's wishful thinking. We'll see what happens. The other one that I took a short on was SMR. I'm still short, and I shorted it right there this morning. I'm waiting. The position is working fine. It's not doing anything wrong. It doesn't look like an ABC. It could be. And if it is, I will know if it breaks back above 39.77, but I'll probably be out before that. So I'm looking for this to break lower. This is, I don't know, I think these were kind of high flyers. And what kind of made me short it too is the fact that, a pretty big sell-off in here. Then they weren't able to make a new high. So I don't know. I'm just not. Let me take a look quickly at the weekly charts. They're not looking pretty. Like it had a huge rally in here, and we're getting a couple of weeks of rejection and continuing lower. So for me, new scale power could be a little bit of a trouble once it even cracks below 31.47. So that's that. And then let's go take a look. Okay, Home Depot, I closed the position. So it didn't give me a whole lot. It just gave me a move back to 370. So I took it. I'm out of it. It's too slow. We'll revisit next week. The other one that I shorted is TDUP. I think this one, because I think it looks bad on the weeklies, and it almost has a nice head and shoulder. I like to kind of fade these rallies against the sell-off. Ideally, if we can break below here, I would look for a move back like that, maybe even a bit lower. So that's TDUP. LRN, I already shorted. I'm out. It was this morning, just on a break of these levels. And I've done this on based on the weekly time frames. This is kind of what it's, was telling me, that, it had a big bust up, and then it's all kind of a dying move down from there, but it's still in a big uptrend, right? So just be careful. I mean, look at the divergence in the RSI between this and that. Okay, so it's probably going to correct some more, and then I think I wanted to show you. Okay, this is another one that looks interesting in terms of weekly formations. That and this, right? So you try to break, and then on the weekly time frames, you're creating a nice bearish engulfing. I think there's another name for it. Escapes me right now. Forgive me, but I will remember after I'm done with the video, probably. Bearish something. I'm not sure. I forgot. So anyway, it's that's the idea, to see if we can, correct a percentage of this entire rally. Okay, ARKK looks good here on the weekly still. On the 4-hour, I'm just not a big fan of this entire move back up. I think that's a fade. The stops are going to be, just above that level, 71, so it's not a big risk. So I took a chance on that. And then I also took a chance on Roblox. After several tries of 107, it failed. It came back into the 20-day, which holds. But I think this is a corrective move in here. And I think Roblox will probably want to challenge and break the 20-day. It might take a little longer, but I'm going to look for that. I mean, if we make a new high there, I'm out. So that's it, guys. I'll leave it at that. Excited about Bitcoin and see how that's going to move and how we're going to close. If it's a fade, we'll see it on the chart pretty quickly. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.